Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm Grower 31. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Hope you survived that Xfinity race. It was rough. It was rough. I mean, I made money. My cash line was solid with that, but everything else I went with a GPP. I made a little bit of profit, but with nothing else hitting, and my cash getting there, but not doing spectacular. It was a I can't complain. I didn't lose, but I thought there was more potential with that one. So, Cup race, 350 laps at a track they haven't run. That was looks like my local municipality repaved it because I'm like when you say like repaved, like Atlanta was repaved, like the whole thing was repaved. This one, like parts of it were repaved, and it's not. There's not even like a single consecutive like groove that was repaved because it was places that still have old. So tire wear is an issue. Other grooves, I don't know what's going to happen. Depends on how much. I mean, they did have the Xfinity race, so there's rubber down there. So hopefully there's no rain or anything. When they tested the tire, it was like 65, 70 degrees out. The Xfinity race was in the 80s. And even though this race is at like, what, 7 o'clock their time, like the temperature is still supposed to be in the 90s. It's supposed to be very hot in Iowa at the start of the race. So, and hopefully it'll cool off. But I just know in my area, like we've got temperatures coming up this week where like the low overnight's gonna be 82, and I'm in like Northeast Pennsylvania where it's really not like that, and it's not like a tropical environment at all. So I don't know. This could be Bristol 2.0. If you remember that race, I believe it was on St. Patrick's Day. Um, or maybe it's Easter. It was somewhere. It was a Sunday in March, and it was just the tires recording, and it was just a disaster. It seemed like an Xfinity, and in practice here, you couldn't go more than 20 laps without having an issue. So I think tire wear is definitely going to be a factor. So I say treat it as a super speedway. Play lighter than you normally would. Like play a little, have like a little bit of enjoyment and enjoy the race. But I'm not playing my normal volume at all. I just think it's way too risky here with how volatile this could be. I think that there is just trying to make some builds, a cash lineup that a lot of people are going to gravitate to. I don't know if it's the best option. Just be at least like I tried when I built probably like the most obvious like chunk cash line I could. And then I tried to build some other lines, and the ones I felt most comfortable with is the one that I have the prompts in. So let's just get into the breakdown here. Kyle Larson, it's been great at these short tracks and everything, and decent with tire wear. Although he had a love hate relationship early on when this next gen car first came out, he blew a ton of tires. But I think he's going to be very chalky. I think he's going to be he was second overall with like long run speed and practice. So he should be the dominator up here and lead early. Blaney, I look as an upside dominator. Blaney's always been good at tire wear. Blaney's good long run driver. I believe he had pole at one of the other short tracks like Martinville or Bristol. I can't remember which one it was, but and I think I have him as a prime play. I don't see that here, but I think I'm definitely going to have some shares of him. Josh Berry, if you look at, I threw the projections in this week. Sometimes I don't trust them, but I feel better about them this week, so I did put them out there. It's just I think the model's like pretty close, but Barry, I don't know. He is really good at tire wear tracks. He in other series that he drove, especially in Xfinity, he was really, really good, and he's not been bad in Cup. And he's on the team where Harvick was one of the masters at like tire wear tracks. So I'm sure some of it was the driver, but I think probably the crew chief and the team understand it too and can work with Barry to be successful in that. So I think that that he could be a dark horse here. I don't think he can win the race, but I think he might have a very good day. So I'm gonna definitely play him in my main GPP lineup because I've got a strong conviction that I think that he's going to have a decent day here. Byron, they always have decent cars here, and he's had tire problems here and there, but I don't know if I can. If I'm playing Larson, if I can play Byron now, like could Byron be like a secondary dominator and get up there? Like he's got to do something with his but he's only like 24th in like practice speed overall. So it's more of a GPP play for me. So keep him in your dominator pool for if you're rotating DOMs up top for GPP. But the one I really like here is Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski has always been really good on tire wear tracks. And so I think that he finished pretty well at Bristol in that disaster. So I think this is definitely one to watch here. And I'm gonna make him a prime play here because I think if Larson's like the primary dominator, I think Kozlowski can not if even if he doesn't dominate this race, I just feel really good with what I've seen with him over the years with being able to uh master tire wear and short tracks and stuff. So and the Fords have found some speed recently. I think everything points to him having a solid day. And again, I don't think he's going to be in um, the cash build that I think is going to be super popular. Uh, Case Briscoe, he, I think he's a GPP. I don't see him dominating here, but I could see him having a solid day. He's been okay when it comes to tire wear. He's 10th in speed in practice. So I think he's in play. Again, we just have to see if some of the guys, if it's hard to pass, I think that just makes it even better. But, and, there's a couple guys behind him that might get up ahead of him, but I still think he can finish in the top 10. Kyle Busch have a GPP, but it's almost a fade here. He just like these RC cars had no speed in practice here. And he's just struggled this season. Like he's down to 8,200. He used to be a 10K driver. I just, I'm not gonna say he's toast yet. I still think there's some talent there, and is he gonna surprise us and win a race? Definitely think that's gonna happen probably before the end of the year. I don't think he's quite done yet, but not heading in the right direction. Tyler Reddick, I think he can play as a cash play here. I don't think he's going to. He could lead some laps, so maybe consider him as a purple dominator. But he looked really good in speed and practice. I think he had the second fastest 10 lap, and he's there's no upper groove. That's the only thing that concerns me a little bit, but I think that he's projecting well. Uh, he should do well. He's good on tire wear, so I think that he's one that you can, if you get into this range in your cash, that you can fill in as solid cash floor play. Chase Elliott's usually more popular than he should be. Like he's projecting well here, but obviously Reddick is in the same price range, is projecting a little bit better. He's always a GPP play for me. Does he have the potential and talent and team to win any race? Yes. It doesn't happen as often as it should, so that's why I don't feel he has the floor. Christopher Bell in the backup car here is going to have to go to the back and drive up through the field, but he's been good at these types of tracks, and I think that he can definitely, if he doesn't cut another tire down, have a good day. And I'll probably have him with Barry in my GPP lineup. So there's two of my GPP core probably there, just because I think that he will be able to figure out how to drive through the field. But if you look at it this way too, if he can't drive through the field, they're going to short pit and because they're not going to be even close to sniffing stage points. So like, why bother and get the track position? And he should be able to hold it and even like pass. So I think he probably can get up front eventually in the race, lead some, and if he doesn't blow another tire, should have a good day. But because he has to go through the field, I can't make him cash play as a GPP play because he has got a ton of upside, but not that much floor. Joey Logano, I have to put him as a GPP, but he is going, and I know that this is probably dangerous, but this is why I'm building my GPP this way. So the three core drivers for my GPP are going to be Josh Berry, are going to be Christopher Bell, and are going to be Joey Logano. And why Joey Logano? Joey Logano hasn't done well in these types of tracks. Joey Logano didn't look great in practice and doesn't have the speed. Well, um, and talking with my coworker Richie Martin, who does knows a lot about NASCAR and stuff. He's on him because Joey Logano does really well winning at races for a race for the first time. Um, like he did really well in the first Clash, and there are a couple other ones out there that he won the All Star race. Like where when they go to these tracks for the first time and go out there and race for some reason, and it could be just coincidence, but maybe there's something there. So, in a GPP build, if it's going to be tough to pass here, I'm okay with Logano, I'm okay with Bell, and I'm okay with Barry. I know what I'm getting. I feel that they can manage their tires. Bell's the only one I kind of question on that. So I know it's a little bit pricey, but not that bad because Barry's only 7,800. But I think there's a lot of other solid plays I can fill in the rest of the lineup and feel good about that for a GPP. Hamlin, I think, has a lot of upside here too. He has been good on these tracks. Was good in Bristol, good in Martinsville. Like he and Larson are pretty much the ones you really want to watch here. And I think that even though he didn't qualify well, but he doesn't always. He was eighth in yeah, I just don't think he likes to show his cards, and we've talked about this quite a few times on these videos, where he doesn't qualify great, but then he methodically works his way up through uh, the field, and all of a sudden he's out there like leading the race at some point. So I think he's good in cash. A line, is there enough value to get Larson and Hamlin as like your second dominator in there? Yeah, I'm fine with that if you're not on board with a Keselowski, but even Keselowski at 9-2, there's enough guys deep if you feel that the script is going to be that like some of these 9K guys that are like down in the back of the field aren't going to be able to get up there, or some guys starting around them that are in the 6K range are going to do just as well with place differential as some of the ones in 9K range, then you can play Larson. You can probably get Keselowski in there and Hamlin and do kind of a three kings lineup, as I call it, where you've got three high price guys and then it's I guess you'd call it stars and scrubs too. But I don't think you necessarily have to play like Daniel Hemrick and Priest and Harrison Burton and Zane Smith and make it work. So I haven't tried to build that yet, but I think you should be. But then I'll then just stick to Larson and Hamlin if you want to go that way, and skip Kozlowski. And like I said, there's some other really solid plays that we'll get to that could fill in that lineup and make it work. But I will give you this: the super popular cash lineup that I'm anticipating doesn't have both Larson and Hamlin in it. This is like one of those. I'm not going to give you the lineup, but this is one of those games where, do you remember in elementary school where Jim lives in the greenhouse but he doesn't drive the red car, and you got to figure out like which guy lives in which house with which color car. Yeah. Um, so read between lines here, kids. Daniel Suarez, Gilliland, I think they're starting too far forward here. I can't completely put fades on them. Maybe Suarez, but Gilliland, like he doesn't project well here. But just like the eye test in recent form, he has been a top 15 driver. Like this front row program has taken steps ahead. They're like with Stuart Haas clothing stuff, they're going to be probably the number two forward and growing program. I mean, they might even start putting pressure on Penske because Penske hasn't been as dominant as they've been in the past. So, RFK, they've done okay, but not great. So I really like this program. I really think they've got a bright future. They're invested in it. Um, so let's just hope many more cars like next year doesn't water it down and the resources are too thin. But anyways, back to Gillian. I think that he has been well on tire wear tracks when he was in the truck series. And I think that he could be a sneaky, solid GPP fill in here at 6,700. Busher, I normally would love on tire wear tracks, but I just didn't see the speed in practice. It was just kind of concerning. Like, that's 15th isn't bad for qualifying, so maybe, but like he was like 31st in practice speed and long run speed just wasn't there. So maybe it was just practice and maybe they're just testing some things out and it'll be perfectly fine. But I don't know if I can play him in cash. So GPP for me there. Bubba Wallace is a great track type for him, so I feel solid cash played. Definitely some floor there. Ross Chastain, same thing. Ross drove in the Xfinity race, so he's had some experience on like how tires fall off. I get it, different car, different tire, different package, but feel for the track I think is very important here, especially when they've had just the practice and like he has more laps than anybody to kind of have an idea and saw what went on firsthand in the Xfinity race. So I think he's a solid cash play with some floor. AJ Allmendinger, hard hit into the wall in Xfinity, says he's okay and everything, blew a tire. Colleague hasn't struggled, and I just don't see this being a great track for him. So GPP for me, almost a fade. Haley's had a solid season. That's why I'm giving the GPP tag. I think he's starting a little bit too far forward here, but 5,800, I like the price tag, so I'm okay if you're throwing him in your GPP lineup if he's like the last guy in. Because if you look at some of the other drivers around him, um, besides John Hunter Nemechek, who's probably going to be super popular, I just don't trust him. I trust Haley a lot more. Uh, and he's going to be the one in the price range you're probably going to gravitate towards. Carson Hocevar has had a solid season. Also, was good in the Truck Series on tire wear tracks. Uh, Again, I kind of the price isn't bad here at 5,800 compared to some of the other ones in the price range. So, sorry, he's 66. So that's a little bit more expensive. Probably would again Haley, but and like Gillian's right there too. So you have some choices. I can't completely rule them out. Again, I teeter on fades for like this whole section here between like Allmendinger, Haley, Hocevar, and Cindric. But Cindric, I'm definitely going the fade too. At 7,500, looking at the other drivers around him, like he was 34th. There's absolutely no speed here. Uh, yeah, I think he blew a tire too. So believe he's in a backup car. So yeah, just too many. So he's gonna have to start at the back of the field and drive through it. So I just can't do it. Fade for me. McDowell, I got another front row one here that I feel is solid. It's been good on short tracks, decent on tire wear. So I think you can consider him in cash, but I would drop down $300. Noah Gragson. I know you're probably like 23rd, but Noah Gragson has been super solid. Noah Gragson and was masterful in Xfinity on tire wear tracks. So, and the Stuart Haas team, I know they're closing up and stuff. They, I think, still are putting like the resources out there. Gregson wants to do well to make sure he lands something decent next year. Maybe it's already happened. I haven't paid attention to the silly season news as much in the last couple of days, other than I know that Truex is retiring. So he's there, and this should be a solid showing here. So going to be a prime play, and he's not one that I believe is going to be in the chalky cash lineup. So there's a little bit of differentiation, I think, to help make uh, your cash lineups stronger, especially if you maybe throw them in like a single entry GPP to help compete against some of the other ones, which might all be duplicated. LaJoy, terrible track type for him. Burton, slow as a turtle, super struggles. Can't do either one of them here. Zane Smith should probably be in the same category, but I know he was decent with tire wear in the truck series, so that just goes to the GPP, but he probably just should be a fade. Ty Gibbs, I think, will be very popular down here at 9K. Solid cash play. Um, if you can give him your lineup, great. There's place differential there. I think you might want to try to play either he or Truex in your cash build, and I think both will be super popular. Wink, wink. Um, Cascarala, it's a fade for me. Just so slow. Uh, But here's the other thing too. Like maybe some of these cars I think are gonna be slow. Maybe they're going too fast, and that's what's causing the tire wear. So maybe these slow cars will be fine. They'll be able to save a set of tires, and then they'll just go out there and drive to the front and win the race. I highly doubt it, but you know, it might help them with attrition and place differential. So I guess I can't write off some of these slower traditional cars. Um, but again, just keep that in the back of your mind. But I still don't think that they're going to be that competitive. Priest, I think, is going to be solid down here. Also, 65's price is a little steep, but I think he's got enough floor for cash. He doesn't hit the 4x that I usually look for, but I put him in cash just because I know he's really good at tire wear track. He's got the place differential. He's not going to drive up in the top 15, but he should run a clean race and avoid disasters, avoid cutting down a tire, and get a solid finish position. So definitely has the floor for cash. Hemrick is usually slow, but again, I put the GPP tag on him here because I trust him a little bit more than Gralla. Um, because he's in a collie car. But this again, that might be the secret formula that a driver that's not as fast might fall down a couple laps. But if there's a lot of attrition, if we lose like 10 cars to wrecks due to tires, then that moves him up 10 spots, even though he's 3 laps down. So just a thought there. Truex announced his retirement, and you thought that would take off the pressure and everything, but practice wasn't great, and the qualifying wasn't great either. But we always like it with like day night races for him. He's been solid on these. So I think he definitely has some floor starting 31st. He's not a 31st place car playing when it's all said and done. They'll get everything figured out and dialed in through the course of the race. Definitely should make up in the top 20, top 15. So between he and Gibbs, I think they're both like play one or both in the cash builds. Eric Jones, GPP, just no speed at all. He was dead last, like he had an anchor or cinder block hanging out of the chain to the back of his car. Just, I got to put him as GPP because, again, I said like the slow cars might not blow tires as much. So, and there's the place differentials baked in here. So, but not, I'll probably look for other options over him, but like if I'm stuck at 6,400, I don't have the 100 to get up to Priest. I mean, I've got like two other great options that I'm going to get to in a second. Bowman, I think, is another solid core cash play here. That's why I have the prime on him. I think he's good chalk down here. He is really good at tire wear, decent on these types of tracks. Does at 8K the price is much better than trying to play a 9 or 10K guy down here. You don't need him to like lead laps and dominate to pay off his price tag. So I think that he could be the best point per dollar, and that's what my projection has him as the best point per dollar play on the slate. So definitely like that, and I'll probably have a good share of them. John Hunter Nemechek, I think he'll be super popular also because people like playing John Hunter Nemechek. Because but the Xfinity race, like he got too close to his teammate, cut down a tire, end up in the wall. Like he was winning most of it before late like caution. So, and I have a cash play in Xfinity, but it just he just lets me down so often. But I did have in the Xfinity notes that this is his home track. Um, so I don't know if there's any other Iowans in the field, But if there are, put them in the comments. Let us all know if you are familiar with anybody in the field that's from Iowa. But Nemechek, I'm pretty sure. Um, I saw on the preview show that watching like the practice that he was from Iowa. So definitely help him out. Even if he's not from Iowa, it's the same story. He's got upside, but the floor just kind of kills you. Stunthouse and Austin Dillon, like I hate putting Austin Dillon as cash play, but Stunthouse has been great on tire wear tracks. He's got nothing but upside here. And Dillon, it's got to be the same thing. He wasn't as bad as some of the other, as like Bush was in practice. Actually, Dillon was. Where's the three? Oh, he's ninth. So yeah, that's really nice. So definitely tons of place differential here. They should be okay, even if they blow a tire or have issues. They're not going to be a negative like some of playing some of the 6K guys like Allmendinger, or or Gillian. If they have some of the same issues, they're going to fall so far down and lose you points. So there's definitely some floor here. There's a ton of upside. So I really like them. Solid cash plays. So I got for you. If you have a question, put them in the chat below. Hit me with my Rover 31 on X/Twitter. If you want more information on FSI DFS, we are so close. Um, well, let me talk about that first. So more information on FSI DFS. If you want to get in like soccer, Charlie is killing it. There's so much soccer with between Euro Cup and Copa America, and I think like it's a Gold Cup coming up too soon. So lots of soccer. We have MLB baseball. We're still covering as long as NHL and NBA playoffs go. We're partnered with Kurt, who's written articles for many other big name DFS providers out there. So excited to partner with him on WNBA. And you can get all of this for just $6 a day. It's like $25 a week. It's very inexpensive. So go into the description of the video and you can get the link to our pricing page. But what's better than paying $25? How about a free week of VIP of everything? All you have to do if you haven't done it yet is if you've subscribed to our channel, take a screenshot proving it, email it to promos@fsidfs.com, and we'll send you a coupon within 24 hours for that. And if you're a new subscriber, even better. We're like 17 away from 5,000. So please, 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 today is your day. If make it a great Father's Day present for me. 17 people who watch these videos all the time, please. 17 of you just hit the subscribe, get us to 5K. Um, and that just be a remarkable achievement. So and trust me, I won't badger you until we get to 10K at the next milestone. No, we're happy with 5K, and hopefully we continue to grow from there. But 5K is just something that has been a target for us for almost 2 years now. And if you can help us make it happen, please do. So thank you so much. Appreciate you watching. If the videos help us back, likes, and subscribe to the channel, share with your friends. Good luck in your contest again. Happy Father's Day, everybody. Hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.